We're live on Facebook. Good morning, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and I'm with Marya Stark, one of my favorite human beings.
Aw.
Oh, absolutely. Totally. I certainly one of those multi-talented people that I know, and I know a lot of very multi-talented people. And it's Mother's Day. And so it's Mother's Day with Marya and Scott. And so welcome, everybody. I want to acknowledge those of you watching live, and I certainly want to acknowledge that most of you will probably be watching the replay, because that's what I notice usually happens with this show. And we're going to be honoring Mother on many levels. We're going to be honoring our human mothers. We're going to be honoring Divine Mother. We're going to be honoring Mother Gaia. And to get us going, I'm going to put the spotlight on my friend Marya.
Thank you, Scott. It's wonderful to be here, and just shout out to my mother, Joanne, if she's watching or if she's going to see this later. I love you, Mom. I'm so happy to be with you this lifetime. Again, many lives together, me and my mom. And honoring all of the mothers who are watching also, who have given birth to babies and raised children. I know that is a massive undertaking, and so just loving you all so much. And for all of us who experience mother in our own ways, whether we're just observing our own maternal instincts, giving birth in other ways to the world, and receiving and being in the journey of receiving mother's love, both from our own birth mother and from the mothers in our womb, and from the Divine Mother and from the Mother of the Matrix. So I would love to lead us in a short meditation to just ground in and call upon our connection to Mother. So I'm just going to turn this up real quick. Just taking a few deep breaths in together. Releasing a sound. And another breath in. And on this next breath, I'm going to invite us to sing a gentle tone right into our heart, feeling as though as we sing, we can call ourselves right into the center of this body that came from womb, that came from mother, that came from mystery. We call ourselves right present to it.
How does a business reach peak performance? Faster communication, easier collaboration.
That was a little spook. Sometimes right before we call ourselves into our body, we have to sweep out all the spooks in there. So that was just a blessing from the spook. We say wow, and we'll just blow it out. Just blow out the spook, and calling our hand right back on our heart again, taking that deep breath in, and with a sound vibrating our hand, see if we can vibrate our hand. And as we take a few more tones here, I want to invite us to tone a little bit into our body, into our cells. This gift of this body that came from a womb, that came from a gestation, that came from mother, that came from this incredible, mysterious portal. And we birthed out, and we got a body, and we got cells, and we got these complex structures. And every day we're connected in a profound way to that energy of where we came from. And so with these tones, we're going to just celebrate and nourish the body that we have been given to be on this journey from mother, and from forces that are seen and unseen, and knowable and unknowable, and profound. And we're going to allow our voice to come in and connect to the specialness of that experience, and see with our voice if we can just say hello to our cellular structure, the matter of our body, the matter of the material that came from the mother, the Ma. So we're just going to sing these tones of Ma to connect with the matter of our body in celebration and honoring of Mother's Day. Taking a deep breath in together. vibrate the matter, that vibrate the cells. See if you can connect in your mind with every cell in your body with this sound. Following the voice down to the base of our body, our perineum, our roots, and we're sending now these sounds to connect to a beautiful root system that connects now to the earth, to this other great being who nourishes and gives life and supports life, and where the material of our body has appeared to come from. We're going to connect to the energy of the river, the currents that connect us to this beautiful planet, this conscious being, as a different kind of mother, matter, material, ma, sending this sound in celebration and connection through our roots down. Like we can draw up golden milk, nourishing nectar from this mother, warming us, giving us life, giving us the nutrition that we need, giving us the quality of energy that supports us throughout our day, this life force energy and connection and collaboration and respectful relation with this beautiful earth being. We're going to draw that energy up from our roots into our womb, into our hara, into our belly. That deep breath in. Singing one final communion with Mother Energy, right back sound to move through this beautiful body, this gift from the Mother. Good to be here in voice and body. Thank you for journeying there with me, everyone.
Oh, this is so beautiful, Marya. It's almost hard to talk after that. It's very, very beautiful. You know, I'm noticing that during this COVID time where we've all had to slow down and where we have fewer distractions, there really, it seems to me, has been an increased appreciation for that which is really important. And on the micro level, what's really important is family and our closest core group. And on the macro level, what's most important is becoming gardeners of the earth, really recognizing that humankind's role should be as caretaker of the planet, not abuser or taker of the planet. And you just froze, actually, by the way. So I'll actually put the spotlight on myself for a second. Anyway, I'd love to hear from those of you in the audience. And I'll periodically check what's happening on Facebook, but also appreciating the people that are in our Zoom room. And I'd love to hear what Mother's Day means to you, if it's honoring and acknowledging your mother. Many of us have mothers that are no longer in body. That's certainly my case.
I'm still here.
Oh, good. You are still here. Although you are frozen. Yeah, you still. Oh, there you are. You're back, but your internet seems to have gotten a little bit not great. But you're beautiful, and you look wonderful in almost a kind of psychedelic way there. So, what does Mother's Day mean to you, and who has mothers that you want to honor and acknowledge? I'm going to keep this. I'll check for a moment while you kind of sort it out, Marya. Nancy, thank you. Right. Welcome.
Great. Well, I'm hoping it'll come through.
I can hear you, so that's good. We can hear you. And the image of you that's frozen is a beautiful image. You look you almost look like you're out of a classic painting from the 17th century or something. Anyway, Nancy writes, welcome Mother Earth, all of our mothers, Mother Mary, and all people who have mothers too. Exactly. Thank you, Nancy. That's very much the way that we want to hold it. So I'll take a moment to kind of share a little bit about my mom, my human mom. It's interesting. I've mostly focused on Mother Earth as my mother for a very long time. Even when my human mother was still alive, I began to realize at a very early age, like really early, that my human mother was just human and had very significant limitations. Whereas Mother Earth is larger than I can possibly comprehend and more capable of supporting me, nurturing me than my human mother possibly could. And that letting go of attachment to my human mother to meet my needs and embracing the divine mother, Mother Earth Gaia, was actually really, really helpful for me in my evolution and my development. And it allowed me to just relax and appreciate my human mother for what she did, which was love me very well and give me life. So anyway, I'm going to just out of honoring, I do want to honor my human mother. She passed 12 years ago, and I had the good fortune to live with her the last 6 weeks of her life in hospice. I moved into her apartment. Anyway, this is my mom Ariel. And these pictures were taken maybe 6 months before she passed away. So it's pretty close to the end. And anyway, I'm appreciating Mom Ariel very much. And I'm also appreciating that Marya is back. And she looks, I think we're getting the complete experience of Marya now.
Awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. We're in good rhythm now. Thank you. Happens sometimes like that.
Oh, it does. And Marya, tell us about your human mother, first of all. Then we'll talk about my mother.
Yeah. Well, I want to pull up a picture of my mother's here. I've been blessed with an awesome mom. And this is my mom and my grandma. This is a photo that we did a couple years ago together. They were sweet enough to play along with me in making this game of the transformation of the lineage as the bloodlines represented through the rose petals move from from mother to daughter to mother to daughter. So this is my grandma Josephine, who passed through the veil last fall. So this is our first Mother's Day with her on the other side as the matron star, keeper of the lineage, right on the other side of the veil. And she's a mighty soul for that position. Glad to have her on that side of the team. And this is my mom Joanne, and she's amazing. You know, I adore her. She's so fun. She really taught me so much about gentleness and kindness. She was an incredibly generous and loving and compassionate being. And she is a person who she's so funny and smart and wonderful. And and like she got me right away as a child. She just really got me. She always got me. And she got me spiritually, which I think is a really special relationship to have. Like I feel seen and understood by her and on those levels that are unspoken. And she, you know, introduced me to some of the mystics, kept me really open my energy, and she's did work on me as a child and got me massages as a young child, and like as I was going through some emotional challenges as a young person, and she would get me regular massages as a 10-year-old. You know, it's like amazing kind of gift. So I really appreciate the intuitive magical wisdom of my mother and this mother line, and I cherish this picture that we got to do while my grandmother was still really healthy and vibrant. And yeah, that's a bit about my mothers.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. And what a blessing to see the grand trio, you know, to see the three generations. That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and my mom and my grandma, you know, they were so close too and best friends, and I feel grateful to have come from a mother line where there is just a deep cherishing and honoring and respect and just like love and appreciation of the mother and closeness. It feels really sacred. I feel really grateful for that.
And his blessing.
Hmm.
You know, as a coach, and I'm sure you as a coach experience it too, so many people that are coping with the mother wound.
Yeah,
And a deep mother wound it's a lifelong journey when we have a
wow,
mother wound.
yeah.
And I was also fortunate. I mean, we all have ancestral stuff to work through, and we all have childhood stuff, but I didn't have a deep mother wound. My mother adored me, you know.
Mm, mm.
In fact, if anything, what I've realized is that my mother so adored me that I have probably unrealistic expectations of how a girlfriend should adore me. I've been
That's
thinking about that lately. Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah. How can you not totally adore me? My mother did. How can you not think that I'm just like it, right?
That's so funny.
So,
Mm,
and I do want to acknowledge those watching who had hard mother situations, or no mother, or negligent mother, or alcoholic mother, or um, whatever it may have been.
hmm.
Um, that's really challenging.
Well, and I think
And
like you're nailing it too with the like even with you know I have such like beloved relationships with my mothers, and still there's like the ancestral open womb kind of womb wounds that are just carried on, and the impact there's these just there's layers to this for sure. And yeah, just similar to a sentiment, not to interrupt you, but I share that similar sentiment is that like there's so many different kinds of relationships with mother, and there can be a lot of complexity of like, oh, on Mother's Day rolls around and people are celebrating their relationships with their mother and the mother, and like having this sort of guilt and shame of like, wow, I don't actually feel that way about my mother, I'm so glad she's not in my life. And those kinds of um, journeys that we go through in the mirror of what is mother, and the lifelong healing journey that it is. Mm-hmm.
you know, I two things. One is that when we have, and all of us have ancestral wounding, and often I hear people cursing their ancestors and blaming their ancestors, and oh my God, I've got this alcoholic ancestral thing or whatever it is. And yes, we all carry ancestral wounding. But I always like to remind people that we are living better lives now than kings and queens lived 100 years ago. And the reason we have so much freedom and so much independence and so much abundance is because of the sacrifices our ancestors made. Our ancestors made unbelievable sacrifices, crossing the plains, crossing the oceans, fighting in wars, working 3 jobs. And they didn't have a whole lot of joy in their lives. Everything was about a better life for our offspring, a better life for our offspring. And that's us. And so the freedom, the abundance, the independence we experience, let's pay it back by working on the ancestral issues and challenges that they didn't have time or tools to work with. You know, it takes time and energy to work on addiction, low self-esteem, alcoholism, domestic violence, whatever it is that we carry in our lineage. It takes time, talent, tools to work on those things. And I believe that's our way of paying our ancestors back and seeing it as a cycle. They provided us the freedom and the time and the abundance. Let's now use that to honor them by working on things that they just couldn't deal with.
Yeah, as you say that, reminds me of this song that I'd love to just share. Collection of songs about the mother, and this is a song called "Center of the Wheel," and it's a song about the work that it is to come to the wheel of life and to step into the center and go like, okay, wow, these are the womb wounds, these are the bloodlines that connect us to the mother. And you know, as I come through the gate of life and I incarnate with all of the gifts and the blessings that my ancestors have given and their challenges, I can also stand at this gateway of my own life to bless them backwards as well with the healing that I'm able to do here. So just as an honor of center of the wheel for healing the mother line and the ancestral lines. Standing at the center of the wheel, opening the crimson gates to fates I'm here to heal, reweaving the threading of the shedding of the blood, the stories of my mother's mother, daughter's daughter, sister's sister, through red rivers we are one. Standing at the center of the wheel, opening the crimson gates to fate's I'm to heal, reading of the blood, the stories of my mother's mother, daughter's daughter, sister's sister, through red rivers we are one. Standing at the center of the wheel, opening the crimson gates of fates I'm here to heal, the weaving of the shedding of the blood, stories of my mother's mother, daughter's daughter, sister's sister, through red rivers we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
That's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and perfect for what we're talking about. Perfect. In addition to being a brilliant musical artist and muse, Marya's a wonderful coach. And any tips or tools or practices you want to share about when people are dealing with a mother wound? Anything come up?
Well, in so I've created a mentorship called Voice of My Womb, the Rose Petaled Path. And in our mentorship series where we explore the different rites of passage, the feminine rites of passage. And this program is for bleeders, it's for socialized women, it's for femme-identified folks. So we're really working with the mother wound in that context. But we're looking at what it is to be an embodied woman and like a fully embodied being. And one of the practices that we do in that, which totally applies to all genders, is to do a rebirthing. Like sometimes the mother wound can come. I have experienced it is that we're still connected to the imprints that we experience from even inside of gestation, let alone the kind of external gestation that happens in the early childhood for the first 7 years. They say that there's this whole external gestation period, and that there's this energetic womb that would come over the child, and so if the mother was absent, or if there was emotional complexity in their dynamic when that external gestation period, it can feel strange, and it can definitely be imprints that happen around attachment wounding, whether like we get very insecure, complex attachment wounding. So one of the practices that I love to share and that I've done for myself is a practice of rebirthing ourselves from our mother's womb, so that we can actually individuate our own energy field from the womb that we incarnated into, because that womb is so precious and sacred. But sometimes if we're continuing to energetically track back in a way that is unconsciously keeping us in a hooked dynamic with the womb that we came in from, then we still tend to play out those wounds ongoing. And so attachment wound healing, of course, is a long journey of slowly transitioning and reparenting our inner child. But one of the rules that to do doing almost like a practice of honoring the womb that we came from, and honoring that we're actually creating a sphere around ourselves now to hold ourselves, to rebirth ourselves beyond the limitations of our ancestors. And the limitations, and not in a like negative bad way, just every generation has limits of where the growth and the integrated awareness was able to meet what is moving forward, because we're constantly evolving, going further than beyond. And so that is one of the practices that I find really helpful for individuals to recreate an experience of how they're relating to the sphere of energy that they were inside of during their gestation and early childhood, so that they can then reconnect with those energies, bring them in, and now be responsible as the dominant personal like mothering like energy in their lives, whether or not they still have a relationship with their mother as adult. That those bonds can then form in a new way that are different than the energetic patterns that form as part of early childhood development, that are innate in us, that are they're biologically wired. It supports, I've found, people to be able to build relationships that are beyond that biological wiring, that are still connected to it beautifully, but are able to come outside of the unconscious sort of blind spot aspects that can keep things looped and hooked.
Whew, that was a beautiful download. I mean, there's a lot of incredible wisdom that you just packed into that nugget. Um, and what an ongoing practice it is, right? To notice, when are we making a conscious choice, and when are we being reactive, and when is that reaction or that habitual way of doing something an imitation of what we learned from mother or father or our environment. When are we really being fully original?
Mm.
um, that leads me to another question for you, because obviously you're a muse, you are a remarkable the amount of creativity that flows through you is really quite amazing. And so, to what degree would you say that it's really just pure original Marya taking input and it flowing through you as a vessel? And to what degree would you say your creative expression is your mother coming through you, your grandmother coming through you? Yeah.
This is a great question. I have no idea. I think it's like it's one of those, to me it's like an unanswerable question.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the like there are definitely voices that come through when I'm in an open I relate to creativity as opening up into the like accessing states of mind that drop into different dream states that drop into open spaces that where we can connect beyond identity and beyond learned personality, right? And so in those spaces sometimes deeper aspects of my own subconscious can come forward because I'm not, clamped down on it and like trying to, keeping it in the shadows. And sometimes it feels, like old spirit lineage stuff. Sometimes my ancestral stuff. Some of my songs have definitely come from stories my mother has told me about my ancestry. Some stories have come like specifically from specific ancestors. And I feel like some energies of songs that I write are coming from aspects of my lineage. And then sometimes I think it's for me as a creator being, it's noticing and being in relationship with the collective mythos and reflecting on it and responding to it. And sometimes it feels like it's me and personal too. It's kind of all over the place and it really depends on the creation. But I think that it's one of those mirrors. Again, my work is working with creative process as a mirror for inner alchemy and personal development. So when answering a question like this, it's like, oh, well, what's your creative process? How does that have to do with the mother and your ancestors? I'm just like, yes, of course. It's like, well, how much of it? Yes. I don't know. Like how much of our whole lives has come from the past, like how much of our whole lives is being dreamed forward from our future selves. It's like these sort of big mystical metaphysical philosophical questions that I think part of the adventure of life to just even like pontificate about it. It's like, well, what does the poet, what poem do I want to write about this today? I have no idea. But I love the question because I love unanswerable questions because I feel like they give permission to explore every possibility. And so thank you for a beautiful unanswerable question to explore with.
Well, and then, as you were talking, it reminds me of the great question, how many of us are really even here? Obviously,
Totally.
many of our favorite philosophers say, yeah, one. There's only one being having this incredible experience. Yeah. I wanted to address something I started to talk about when you were in Frozen Land, and that is really embracing our relationship to Mother Earth and Gaia. And one of the really most wonderful choices I've made in my life has been to really imagine, because I totally believe that Gaia, our planet, is a living being, and I choose to see her through the lens of feminine. I choose to see her as Mother Earth. That's how I choose to experience her. And so then I choose to experience her as really loving me the way that any mother loves all of her children. And she loves Marya and my dogs and every being, every species, every creature, as a true mother does. And when I've been in times of deep loneliness, when I've been in times of really feeling isolated, I've been able to tap into and have an actual experience of the love of Mother Earth for me. And sometimes it helps me to just be in gratitude for the air that I'm breathing right now, the water that I drink, the food that I eat. The recognition that I'm constantly, without thinking about it, being nourished and nurtured by Mother Earth. And when I really drop into that, when I really drop into the profound gratitude of that, I feel so loved, so nourished. And it has helped me through difficult times of loneliness, or, from getting out of the illusion of separation, out of the illusion of lonely, into just a very real experience of abundant nourishment, abundant uh, receptivity. So I just wanted to share that. And of course, I'd love to hear if that inspires anything within you, Marya.
Mm. I love this feeling of, yeah, I mean, similarly how we were talking about, how do we repattern if we're noticing that there is mother wound energy impacting our ability to be present, our ability to to give, to be in relation healthily. And I love this piece of like, oh yeah, honor, like the deep connection with the earth as a consciousness from which life is supported and arises, and to actually be held in the arms of that kind of a mother that is so beyond personality and conception of form, can be extremely healing for people who've lost their mothers or for some reason aren't able to have a friendship with mother, relationship with mother, but it's complex. There's getting met in terms of nutrition and whatever it is that we're wired for, um, biologically, that didn't happen for whatever reason in our early childhood, that to be able to repattern and create entrainment deliberately with the earth, with as a being, is super useful. I love that. It's super juicy to me when I hear that. It's been a big part of my journey as well.
I would imagine. Again, I want to welcome everybody watching on Facebook, and certainly those of you in our chat box or in our Zoom room. Charlotte, Ethan, Jean, Lori, Linda, Nancy, any of you, love to hear your thoughts. Anything you want to share about Mother's Day, Divine Mother, Human Mother, definitely want to include you. And we were with Marya Stark, the Muse. And Marya, would you like to share another song with us?
I would love to. So this song is called Lineage. And I actually just released I shared the music video today that we shared a couple years ago, for this music video for this song Lineage, that is from my album called Lineage, which is a collection of songs for womb healing and for anthems for healing the womb wounds. And so this one is to honor the lineage. And this was written as a birth song for a friend of mine who was in labor with her daughter. And so this is a song to honor honoring all the new mothers. Specifically, I had another friend that just had a baby, and just feeling all of the new mother energy in the world. So we're just loving all that. But to all mothers everywhere, this is honoring the lineage. Lineage, 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 lineage. I honor my lineage, lineage. I honor my lineage, lineage. As I dance on the spiral through the passage of these rites, with the wisdom of the cycle and the mother blood that gives me life, in the waking of her daughters and the bearing of these bones to the birthing waters, where I find myself reborn. I honor my lineage. Lineage, I honor my lineage. Lineage, I honor my lineage. Lineage, honor my lineage. Lineage, as I dance on the spiral through the passage of these rites, with the wisdom of the cycle and the mother blood that gives me life, and the waking of her daughters and the bearing of these bones to the birthing waters, where I find myself reborn. I honor my lineage. Lineage, 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 I honor my lineage. I roll, I roll, I honor my lineage. As I dance on a spiral. Lineage, I honor my lineage. As I dance on the spiral. As I dance.
Let's just all take a minute as we swim in the sea of that beautiful song to honor our lineage, giving thanks to our ancestors, many of whose names and lives we know nothing about. Thank you. Thank you for the genetics. Thank you for the freedom. Thank you for the independence. Thank you for the abundance. Thank you for the vision of a wonderful life for your offspring, even while you were enduring such cruelty or survival or challenges. Thank you for envisioning this life that we're leading now. And may we honor you and our lineage by making choices that are conscious, working on healing ancestral wounding, personal wounding. Aho.
Thank you.
I want to let people know how you can get more Marya. It's her website, and it's easy. It's her name with a dash. So it's www.marya-stark.com. Marya-stark.com. And there's a lot of really good things here. Music, and her new album, Sapphire, is just exquisite, really exquisite. Anything you want to direct us to while we're looking at your website, Marya?
Well, thank you, Scott. If you just go under that academy, go back up there and go on that academy line, you'll see vocal res- and the course I have going on with my brother Elijah. We're talking about working with the voice as an alchemical tool, some of the vocal practices that I apply to healing with the mother and to working with creative energy. Those methods we discuss at length here, and we just started a 12-week journey with some live calls for folks that dive into the voice. The voice is a tool for creativity, for self-development and cultivation. At our first live class yesterday, we've got 5 more coming every other week, and just some incredible tools. Elijah's wonderful with and this whole library that we've co-created together, and we're inviting you to come join us for the party.
Beautiful. And that's at vocalcoreresonance.com. vocalcoreresonance.com. Marya, thank you so much for sharing some of your Mother's Day with us. And I hope your mother watches this. So to Marya's mother, thank you. Thank you for bringing her into this world. She is such a blessing in my life, in our global Peace Tribe life. And thank you, Marya Mom, for bringing her in and the choices you made that have helped her to become. And thank you for everybody watching.
Mama.
And if you enjoyed this, please share it out. We do have a couple of comments, actually. Ethan writes, Marya's Sapphire, a visual journey of song album, is amazing. And it puts the link in there. Thank you, Ethan. I'll copy that and I'll put it in the Facebook group page. And Lori writes, I did an epigenetic experience in an NBC workshop. There was a healing connecting to an ancestor that I had never met, loving me. I really took that in. It was so powerful. I cried so hard and felt this great grandmother's love that I never met.
I love that. So beautiful. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting talking about our ancestors. I have one of my closest friends, and she had a grandfather who, as a human being, was a really, really tragic human being. He married into wealth, stole all the wealth, blew it on cocaine, and ultimately committed suicide. And so she always had this vision of him as this, somewhat evil person. And she got a very powerful psychic reading from a psychic that I trust, who helped her to understand that this being is now her greatest angel and ally. Because when we leave the human plane, when we leave this body, we also leave our ego and we leave the personality. It all dies with the body. And so seeing the tragedy of his life as a human, he wants to do everything he possibly can on a soul level, on an angelic level, to support his offspring. And she has since really learned to acknowledge and appreciate and work with him as an ally. And so I thought there was just such a powerful reframing of how we can think about some of our ancestors who had tragic lives. Anyway, that just came into my memory right now.
I love that, and I'd just love to bring in this song because it really speaks to the allyship of our ancestors. And it feels like since we're close to wrapping up, this might be a great wrap up song from my side of the thing.
Right.
This is a song, just honoring, feeling in all of the healthy, well ancestors, the ones who we never knew, who are just they saw us in the future, and they're like, we want to make these big changes that our people live with less struggle and just managing, and so that we are the living prayer of our ancestors. We are the answered prayer, and so that we're taken this prayer all the way home with them in allyship. So this is to build that, continue fortifying the allyship of all our ancestors. Thank you to all of the mother beings. Thank you. We love you so much. Ele-le-ele-io, 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 ele-le-ele-io. We are the promise of the prayers of our mothers and the long line of mothers before them. We stand together as beads on a string, and we'll carry this prayer home. We are the promise of the prayers of our mothers and the long line of mothers before them. We stand together as beads on a string, and we'll carry this prayer home. Ele-le-ele-io, 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 ele-le-ele-io. We are the promise of the prayers of our mothers and the long line of mothers before them. We stand together as beads on a string, and we'll carry this prayer home. Carry it home, 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 carry it home. Home, we'll carry it 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 home, carry it home, carry it home. I am the promise of the prayer. We stand together. Yeah. I am the promise of the prayer, and we stand together. Carry it home, carry it home, carry it home, carry it home, carry it. Ele-le-ele-io.
Oh, Marya, that was just glorious. Just glorious. Nancy writes, carry it home and in our hearts, beautifully sacred, divine, and holy music. Charlotte writes, thank you for a beautiful conversation and such stunning music. My mom was a force. I grew up surrounded by a community of powerful and wise women who lifted one another as they climbed. I miss that now, but I'm doing my best to build my own community of powerful nurturers. Jean writes, what a beautiful, very good song. To feel alone is sometimes a silly idea for me as well. Lots of laughs. And finally, Lori writes, Marya, I love your voice and music. So
Thank you, Lori.
everyone in our chat box. And thank you, Marya, for the gifts of your talents, your songs, your wisdom, and your presence in our world. I love you so much.
I love you, Scott. Thank you so much for creating the space and for having me to come share. Really special.
So give Faustian a hug for me.
I will.
And everybody, thank you for joining us. Those of you watching the video replay, you can still put comments in the Facebook page. I take a look at that periodically. And next Sunday, Danyan Brinkley is going to be my soul guest. It's going to be going deep with Danyan next week. So it's going to be fun and interesting. God's blessings, everybody. Have a wonderful Sacred Sunday, a beautiful Mother's Day. Namaste.
Namaste. Bye, loves.